The year is 1952. Special Branch has suggested there are 2,500 Mau Mau fighters in the forest, with 600 of them thought to be hardcore. Police struggled to maintain law and order. Nevertheless, with every incident they were gaining counterinsurgency experience in small unit operations, ambushes, and tracking. Welcome to Secret Files Kenya, where we discuss events buried deep in the annals of Kenyan history. Don't forget to like and subscribe. General Erskine, who had recently taken over as Director of Operations, was given the unenviable task of securing Kenya, especially the Kikuyu section of the colony, filled with Mau Mau radicals and sympathizers. Commissioned into the King's Royal Rifle Corps, Erskine had served on the Western Front during the First World War and had then commanded the 7th Armoured Division in North Africa, Italy, and Normandy. Among the many Mau Mau leaders he would go up against include General China, a skilled organizer who orchestrated numerous raids into Fort Hall, attacking home guards, stealing weapons, and murdering loyalists. Cargo Mboko, who with a loyal bodyguard of about 6 and a gang of about 60, raided Fort Hall district from his camp in the southern Aberdares, and using support from the squatters, was known for attacking where he was least expected and announcing his arrival with a call from a military bugle. Kirimathahu, a courageous fighter and rival of the famed Field Marshal Dedan Kimathi. General Erskine was given command of the 39th Brigade. The 39th Brigade was also assisted by the 70 East African Brigade, the Kenya Regiment, and 1 Lancashire Fusiliers. Their preferred weapon of choice was the Lee Enfield No. 5, or Jungle Carbine, as it became known. The rifle was introduced for use by British units. Shorter and lighter than the No. 4, it was originally designed for wartime airborne forces in Europe, but was ideal for jungle operations. It could be fitted with a No. 5 bayonet, which also doubled as a sheath knife, but it took the same ammunition as the No. 4 and therefore had a considerable kick to its recoil, which affected accuracy. They adapted and learnt forest warfare tactics and techniques by dispatching progressively longer company, platoon and section patrols to dominate sectors, disrupt Mau Mau lines of communication, harass and ambush, and collect intelligence on tactical areas of operations. The gloom and density of the forest often confined troops to moving in single file along tracks. The normal organization was a reconnaissance group of scouts and trackers, followed by the headquarters, then the assault group, and finally, the support group, also providing the rear guard. The Kenya Police Reserve Air Wing also emerged as an asset and was becoming ever-present and indispensable in supporting operations with reconnaissance, supply drops, and the delivery of stores to isolated outposts and patrols. Here is an example of typical counterinsurgency operations. We shall analyze the activities of C Company. Early on, 12th of July, C Company, commanded by Major Patnapian, left its base at Konya and, guided by 8 trackers and with each man holding the face veil attached to the pack of the man in front, entered the pitch darkness of the forest with the intention of establishing a company base 6,000 yards from the forest edge. By about 6 a.m., C Company reached its first objective of the burnt village, once a forest workers' camp at a track junction in a clearing. Leaving Lieutenant Peter Greystone and his 8 platoon as a rearguard, the company climbed towards a small clearing about 3,000 yards to the northwest, known as Green Knoll. Within 400 yards, the leading section engaged 2 Mau Mau, skinning a cow on the path, but lost them in pursuit. At about the same time, firing was heard from Burnt Village, and Nepean sent a fighting patrol commanded by a sergeant back to investigate. Shots were fired at a man walking along the path towards C Company, but he also disappeared. The sergeant returned, reporting that 8 platoon had dispersed 4 Mau Mau driving rustled cattle up the slope from the River Zuti. He also brought a prisoner, one of the rustlers, who had been captured by 8 platoon hiding in undergrowth. Interrogated by Sergeant John Williams of the Kenya Regiment, he divulged that, the previous night, he had been in a party of 40 Mau Mau, who had rustled about 110 cattle. Their camp was about a 3 hours' walk southeast across the River Zuti, and it was occupied by about 300 Mau Mau, led by Stanley Mathengi. The prisoner was prepared to lead C Company to the camp. With one of the 4 top Mau Mau within his grasp, Nepean decided to go on the offensive. Nepean split C Company into an assault group of 5 2-man Bren gun teams and 5 riflemen and 2 section stops. By 4 a.m., the assault group was inching along the path and froze when 3 Mau Mau were reported. When movement was heard to the right and behind them, the soldiers again lay still in the mud. Soon afterwards, when more movement was heard behind them, the assault group commander, believing that he was in danger of being compromised, gave the order to fire. While the Bren gunners raked the camp, firing 4 magazines, the riflemen, each with 25 rounds, selected their targets. Pandemonium erupted, and the Mau Mau, most shaken from their sleep, abandoned the camp in all directions. The Mau Mau rebellion took a toll on both sides, with many lives lost. However, this struggle accelerated Kenya's path to independence. Thank you for joining us today. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others, and don't forget to subscribe for more thought-provoking content. Until next time, stay informed and stay curious.